Ready? Hello, everyone out in Facebook land. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Artist here in the Artfully Connected Facebook group. I'm Cindy Harrison, your host, and I'm here with Miss Lydia Steeves.
Hello. Hi, Cindy. Hello, everybody.
So tonight we're going to talk about her artful journey, and she's going to show us some of the pieces that she'll be teaching in the near future, and how to get a hold of her and see what other pattern packets and stuff that she offers. I just want to thank everyone who is joining us tonight. If you have any questions for Lydia, please put them in the comments section, and we will get them answered for you. If not tonight live, she'll come back and she'll read them and she'll answer them in the comments. So even if you're watching the replay, thank you. And you can still write comments and she will answer them. Remember to tag her in your questions so that she knows that they're there and she will answer them. So how are you tonight, Lydia?
I am doing well. Very nice. Thank you. All excited.
Woohoo! So I'm just going to start at the top, and feel free to give as much information as you want. But
we'll get warmed up.
Yeah, let's warm up. Let's warm up with a really, really simple question. Tell us where you're from.
I am originally from BC, British Columbia, out on the west coast of Canada.
Ah, West Coast, way over there.
Born on Vancouver Island and grew up in the Lower Mainland and had my first baby up in Prince George in northern BC. So yeah, all over BC.
Cool.
Came out to Ottawa about 24 years ago. So now I'm in central Canada. And my husband's originally from New Brunswick, actually. So we're like coast to coast to coast kind of thing.
That's wonderful. So how did you meet your husband if you're coast to coast?
Well, we always like to say it was in a bar. Isn't that terrible? It was one of those things that I went up to northern BC to, because my girlfriend had a job up there. And I thought, oh yeah, I graduated and I went up there too, just to substitute teach and so on. And then her husband knew my, husband, and it was like Friday, a bunch of young people. You go to the bar together, like, a big bunch of people, teachers and engineers and so on. And so, yeah, that's what we say. We met in a bar.
And can I ask, like, how many years that was?
We're gonna be celebrating our 40th next year.
Wow, that's
crazy.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah. And crazy at the same time.
Pretty crazy. I can't believe it when you stop to add up years you've been involved in a variety of things or doing like decorative painting or whatever, right? I mean, it's just it's scary. It's scary.
it is, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
So backing up from that, did you come from an artistic family at all? Anyone else in your family
I'm from a family of craftsmen, actually, I guess. My grandfather worked a little bit in metal. I mean, they all were, it was on the side, I guess. Nobody was an actual artist as far as making their living, but they all, male and female, respected the arts and respected handy craftsmanship, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so cool. I was always well supported as far as that's concerned.
That's wonderful. So
yeah, my brother, he makes paddles, like canoe paddles made out of, like, I don't know, 6 different kinds of wood and that kind of stuff. And my brother does different things. My sister works on different things too. So yeah, we all kind of do stuff.
So yeah, so there's artistic, thread running through the family. Only it's shown in different ways.
More artisan kind of thing.
I call it like languages. Everyone speaks a different language, but it's still all tied together,
all creative, right? Yeah, it's all creative. And
so when did you start, like, actually? I mean, you've always been artistic since you were very little.
Yeah, that used to be my very fun thing to do is, get together and just draw people or draw faces, draw fashion, of course, when you're a young girl, that kind of stuff. And my took art in school all the time. That was always my elective. So definitely was exploring, had some really good teachers, especially in my high school year that I still enjoy remembering what they said. That was good. Yeah.
So did you know that, I mean, did you go into the business right away, or did you do other jobs before you decided to become a full-time artist?
Well, yeah, I was a high school art teacher. So the family that I'm from also thinks that you need to have like, I guess a career or something stable. So I was an art teacher for 6 or 8 years, maybe 10 years before I had kids and before we moved over here. And that was when I found decorative painting and started teaching that. And I stayed at home and then I taught in my house and I started designing and that sort of stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's a good
So,
way to balance the family and art, I guess.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's great. So which artists influenced you the most, would you say, when you first found decorative painting and
I guess let's see. I mean, I've always liked painting everything, even though people only think that I do animals. I always like fruit and still life, and I like Maxine Thomas's little people, all those kinds of things. Helen Barrick. I always like painted a lot of her stuff too. Um, and then when I thought of designing, I thought, well, where are the holes in what is available? And that's when I started with the animals, thinking there wasn't actually all that many people that designed with animals. And I didn't take a class with Karen Hubbard, but at that time she was sort of coming out on the scene. So I learned that little technique of the raking with that Yarka brush. And I always enjoyed Peggy Harris. I painted a lot of her stuff too, tons of her stuff. Sherry Nelson, of course, she always did beautiful things, and people like to paint that. So I did painted a lot of her stuff. But then I did still life. That's so Sherry Rule. I did a bunch of her things, and I did Sharon Hamilton. You remember her still life things? I love her.
wow.
Ronnie Bringle, all those teachers. I loved painting all their different things. It was great.
So in the beginning, you hadn't discovered colored pencils yet. You just were painting.
Yeah, definitely started with acrylic paints as far as designing was concerned. I mean, I did that as a person just doing gifts and things like that for whenever I went traveling. I went to go visit all family in the Netherlands. My husband and I went and did that, and for gifts, I made drawings and things like that, painted on silk, did all those kinds of things. So many things, so many art supplies, so little time, right?
Exactly, exactly. So when you first started, like you were just painting for the gifts and things like that. So when did you decide to start teaching? Did you start teaching before you became a designer or after?
I would say I started teaching before I came a designer. This is a good area, or it used to be, had two shops and I had a few people in my house as well. And then like I say, I did in the shops, and then, one shop kind of closed down. Linda Locke came out, and she's the one that offered me the first book deal. I had done one or two little designs, and she said, oh, you could make a book. So I made my first book with her. And then Viking, then I found Viking, or they found me, and I went on from there. But yeah, so then I decided to sort of focus in on what is it that, was empty as far as opportunity. And that's when I picked the animal situation.
So when did you start the teaching part then? Like, do you have a date that you know when you started teaching, how long you painted?
1996.
96. There you go. Thank
Yes.
you. So then
I'll
when did you become a designer then? How long after you started teaching did you become?
Probably 1996, probably 1997.
Wow,
1998,
cool.
in there. Yeah, pretty quick, actually. Pretty quick.
Excellent.
I mean, I painted a lot, um, for craft sales, and I did all that back in the day too. And then when I came here too, they had a great guild or a chapter, and they had a beautiful sale there, and I painted for the sale. Yeah, it was good. It was very good back in the day. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
That we all remember so fondly.
Yes, yes. And it seems so long ago now, doesn't it?
I know.
So would you, you mentioned Linda Locke, and I loved her stuff too. I think was able to paint with her once. I had the fortune of painting with her once. But would you consider like she was your first mentor in the industry that got you ball rolling?
Oh, yeah, I think she was the one that basically said, you should be making a book and you should be designing and you should be publishing things out there. Yeah, yeah. The interesting thing is I actually met her here, and yet we're both from BC. So she came out as a teacher at the Painted Pony way back when. And yeah, even though she actually
That,
was very close for where I was living.
that explains that you two have the same sense of humor. Because I remember I've had conversations with her, and she came up with the funniest things. I'm like, oh, you're so funny. Oh my God. So that explains all that.
Oh, okay.
Here's a silly question for you. But what is your favorite subject matter?
Well, I do like to paint cats. Mostly it's because I have so many in through my house, but I also like to paint from my backyard. So that's why there's so many chipmunks and squirrels and the birds and all that kind of stuff. I like to paint what I know or what I've seen. I tend to want to paint for my own photos. I don't always, because people would like a polar bear, or and I haven't really seen, or you go to a zoo maybe, and sometimes you just don't get the right picture that you want to paint too. When I did my Africa book, I took them all from photos that I took. And so it was, my experiences. Yeah. But kitty cats, it's hard not
mostly.
To. It's hard
because they're adorable.
They are adorable.
They are. You got one right there? Oh, yeah.
Right? So
I thought you were going to hold up a real one.
Well, I do have one playing at my feet. His name is Gibbs. He's a black and white guy. He's missing an eye. He had some sort of trauma on the streets. He's a 4-month-old, and so he got his eye removed about 10 days ago now.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's the actual eye, very good. He bounced back from that, and he's a bit shy. I think whatever happened to him out there on the street has really affected.
Yeah.
He's a little bit nervous about things. And
do they like sew the eye shut then?
Yeah.
Poor baby. He looked as beautiful though.
He's very handsome.
He is. So you kind of already answered the next question, was how do you come up with your own designs? Because you use the photographs and you have the live subject matters running around your house. So
it's true.
That pretty much answers that question. So the next question is from Ellen in our audience. Thank you very much, Ellen. And anyone else who wants to chime in, feel free. Is how did you transition from acrylics to pencils?
Well, I went to Hoot, and I took a class from Kelly Hornig, and I took a class from Janelle, and I took a class from there was another lady there. I don't know. I went down there because I was on the trade show with Princeton Brushes, and then I thought this is my opportunity to go and take a whole bunch of classes from a whole bunch of teachers, see what they can teach me, and enjoyed that wonderfully. And then just thought. And then here at the store that I was at, I did one Friday night workshop with colored pencil and one Friday night workshop with watercolor pencils. And everybody loved the colored pencils and wanted more and more and more and more. And I think that's when I went to Hoot. And then I thought, okay, people want colored pencils. So that's how I got that.
Yeah.
I took about four classes from different
Wow.
teachers down there on in that one. I mean, conventions are great that way as far as that's concerned.
Definitely, definitely. Carolyn's asking, how many cats do you have? So I'm assuming like right now.
Oh, well, I'm actually have had a very bad year. I had four of my own, and I've lost two. Just like lost one in November and then lost one in February. So it's been a tough year. And now I just have the one foster cat, and I have two of my own.
There you go. So, but you come up with fosters. I mean, they knock on your door frequently, right? So
It's
you
a
never know.
revolving, yeah, it's a revolving door.
Yeah. So you never know how many do you, sometimes you have more than one foster. You have only one now, but sometimes you have more than,
My biggest litter, I had a mom with 9 kittens. They were born on my house. 9 kittens. That's the
wow.
biggest litter I've had here. Yeah, so it was quite a while. It was a lot. And people always say, oh, how can you get back those babies when you have 9 8-week, 10-week-old babies running around your house? You're ready to get rid of them, I'll tell you. It's always the mom that I worry about. I worry more about the mom.
Yeah, but she's okay.
She was fine. She was a good mom. Yeah, she was really, really good until they were about, I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks or something like that, and then that was it. She was done. She wouldn't nurse them anymore, and they had to make their transition like now.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
could understand that. 9
Yeah,
babies.
I suppose. So the next question's from Mary, and she's asking, how did you get into using pastels?
Well, I think I just saw some beautiful paintings, pastels, and thought I absolutely love the color on that. And it just seemed like another thing that I should try to do. And so yeah, it's been a long journey, I guess, as far as, again, taking some workshops and learning a few different things from I think I've taken about 4 or 5 now from different teachers. And doing a little bit of research on different pastels and so on. And then now, of course, this year I've had loads of time to
So
do
do you
it.
have a special brand of like say colored pencils you like over another or pastels that you like over another?
Um, with pastels, I think it's one of those things where you need 2 or 3 brands actually, if you really want to kind of get into it yourself, because you need some hard ones and some semi-hards, and then within the soft, there's like soft, soft, and softer. If I had to pick one, I think it would be more of an emotional thing, and I like the Senneliers because that was my first like real set of soft pastels, and I bought them when I was on one of those trips in France. So it's like my souvenir, and you just have like a little bit of an emotional attachment to them. So
There you
that's what
go.
I would say. Yeah.
And so that's the pastels, the colored pencils you said
The
already?
color pencils, I think I just started with Prismacolors, and I kept with them
There you go.
because they work for me.
Okay, the next question's from Michelle. What would you say is the most important thing about the composition of a piece?
Oh, you have to know why you are painting it. And when you know why, then you can focus in on how to bring that to the forefront. That's what I would
There you go. And you said it.
say.
Andrea would like to know, do you use mainly wax-based colored pencil? And have you ever used the oil-based ones along with a powder blend or powder blender?
I have the powder blender. In fact, I have it right here, and I have sort of tickled around with it a little bit. I guess I don't, because I design with them, I want to design with things that people can get easily. And so the pan pastels have sort of done that. Now, can you get the colored pencil blender, the powder blender? It's a little bit harder to get now. I mean, it will become easier to be purchased. It's getting out there now, but I don't design with something that people can't get. I try not to.
Very good. And the next question is, Mary. First thing she says is, I can't draw worth a damn. Which you're not alone, Mary, because I can't draw either. But I don't let that stop me from designing. So how would you, Lydia, how would you recommend that she proceeds to be able to use colored pencils? Do you have to know how to draw in order to use colored pencils?
No, no. I mean, if you want to design, some drawing ability might be something you need to work on. But I mean, even nowadays with all the different apps and stuff, you can probably go with that. But I think that's the whole thing about decorative painting in any medium, is that I think it's sort of like we have the line drawing, and so we don't need to draw it. And you just need to bring the color to life more than anything else. But if you want to start drawing, just you kind of have to do it a lot, like daily. You can't just kind of do it once every 6 months. You kind of have to work at it. Even now, I mean, I try to draw my own things too, and sometimes sometimes they don't go well.
You do you work from photographs?
I work from photos, yes, because they're animals. They're kind of always bopping around, but I don't trace them. No.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Do you use them as a line drawing?
No, I don't. I draw them now. Yeah.
So
I started that way.
Okay.
But now, I've been working away. You're just always working away at things and just trying to get yourself to move a little bit further along in the journey, like you said. And so I've decided that that's one thing too. That was a few years ago now that I've done that. And so now I draw them all.
Cool. The next question is from Eve, and she says, hello from New Jersey.
Hello.
And
Eve.
what is your favorite medium? So you've done several mediums now. So what would you say, do you have a favorite?
Well, I think I'm basically a painter. So yeah, I would say that I like painting before colored pencil. And I'm more comfortable with the acrylics because I've done so much of them. So if I go back to acrylics, it sort of just rolls off the brush. Yeah, for sure. I'm loving the soft pastels, but it's a struggle. Like I work at that. I definitely work at that.
Cool. Okay. Do you have a favorite technique?
Tippy tap.
Tippy tap. Well, then you're going to have to explain that one.
I just like to sort of, pat things around and push them in the right area, that kind of stuff. And I like to have I probably like layering a lot. Like I like to just put a color on and another color and another color. So that's why color pencil works out well for me too. Pastels work out well. Acrylics work out well. Yeah.
There you go. Well, everyone will have to try and do the tippy tap, tippy tap technique.
Blotchy.
So we talked about, like your favorite pencils and pastels. Do you have a favorite brush that you prefer to use when you actually paint with your acrylics?
I do the rake brush all the time, of course, because I do mostly the fur, but I like the rounded, the filbert shapes. So I even float with a filbert, I base with a filbert. The rakes are filberts, so I tend to like those ones the best.
Cool.
Yeah. And that helps, you see, because they're rounded and they kind of tippy tap and you push them around and they give you soft edges.
Well, it's nice they don't leave any of those harsh corners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you don't want that that's not conducive to a beautiful animal. So Ellen is asking, have you ever done the blending techniques I see using baby oil or mineral spirits?
Okay, so that's odorless mineral spirits. And yes, I love that stuff. I absolutely adore it. I was just saying this morning, because I had a couple of people over and we were just, playing with colored pencils. And I just sort of said, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the odorless mineral spirits. I don't use baby oil though. I only use stuff that's made for art. I don't try to bring in the kitchen sink and other things. It's the same as, you can use hairspray for fixative. It's not made for art, so it's not going to be stable the same way. So I don't use baby oil. Yeah.
It's very good. I know I did take one class and they used baby oil as a glazing medium for the oils, but I was like, yeah, I don't know how that works.
Well, it probably works, but it's probably not stable for you if to like in another 10, 15 years or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yes, we're all here to have fun and do whatever we want. You don't always want to spend that much money, but at some point you have to say that I've spent a lot of hours at art and I tend to try to buy the right things. I don't buy student grade pastels. I buy an artist grade pastel. Because if you do make a masterpiece, then what? Right? You don't know when those masterpieces are coming.
You don't. So Pauline is asking, do you enjoy one medium to work with more than the others? You might have touched base on that question, that answer before, but.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I'm a painter, and that's probably why I use the odorless mineral spirits with my colored pencil, because I think it makes it work like paint. Well, I think I'm a painter.
That would make sense. Yeah. Michelle asks, how do you respond to people who will not acknowledge decorative painters as artists? And do you consider, oops, hold on, I lost it. Do you consider decorative artists as artists? Well, that's very, that's kind of a putting Lydia on the spot. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a shame when people need to value judge all the time. Like everybody brings their creative. It's like when we started the conversation this evening with, am I from an artistic background? I'm from a background that is artisanal, as far as we like to do things with our hands. And why is one thing better than another? I think if people have to weigh in and tell you that they're better than you, then I think they are lacking, not us.
There you go.
There's a lot of talented people and a lot of creative people in this industry. It's amazing. It's a great industry, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Andrea's asking, have you ever tried an airbrush?
I don't think so. No, they're cool. I've definitely looked at them.
I think it's a big investment.
Yeah.
And if you don't know if you're going to like it, it's something you probably want to take a class on or try someone else's before you go and make that investment, right? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm getting someone, Belinda, she goes, I want to learn to tippy tap. Kathy Ballin's like, I love the tippy tap technique. So let's see. Everyone's saying hello. You'll have to go back and answer these. Everyone's saying how wonderful you look and how much fun you are as a teacher and wonderful and all that good stuff. What is your favorite thing to paint or draw? Animals, landscape, flowers. Well, that was cats, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I do like animals. Like I was thinking about things like that too. And because I'm doing this en plein air and it's not going well this year at all. And I think part of it is I like to be in a landscape, but I don't necessarily want to paint it. And I'm wondering, is it because there's nothing alive in it? Because if I put a person in it, then I'm very happy. And if I put an animal in it, I'm extremely happy as well. So I think I need something alive in the piece.
See, I'm just like the opposite. I don't want anyone in my village. I want nobody. I don't want pictures of anybody. I just want the village. Nobody in it.
Okay, well, you see, there you go. Not even Artie.
Oh, he's really adorable. Sandy LaFleur did an excellent job, and he's traveling all over the world to get to to the Artful Webinars first live interactive convention in March 2021. Thank you for that plug.
Well, I'm just saying, he's like cropping up all over the place, and you let him in the landscape.
I did. Because, you know, and it was, and in searching the photographs, it was very easy to find a lot of photographs with no one in them.
And you see, I couldn't, because I know you asked me for pictures, and
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything with no animals in them or no people in them. Just a vista. I did not have a vista.
So anyone who has any pictures of any places they've ever vacationed, if they want to send them to me, Cindy at cindyharrisonart.com. Maybe Artie will pop up there.
That's right. Artie is a well-traveled lad.
The next question is, oh, well, you're just getting a lot of accolades here. So in the comment section. So thank you very much. So you're going to have to go over there.
So say I have to send those to my kids so that they remember that I'm fun.
You're fun. You're fun.
You're a nice person, right?
You're an excellent teacher. Your teaching techniques are so zen. Oh yeah, you got all of those going on there. Patience and everything. The next question I have is, what is your best tip? Like, is it a tip that you give, or was it a tip that was given to you, or one of each? What's your best tip?
What is my best tip? Oh, Well, I would say do what you love. Paint what you love. Don't get sucked into thinking that you have to paint, for everybody else if you don't like what they're doing. And if you want to paint flowers for the rest of your life, paint flowers for the rest of your life, right?
Right.
I think so, because I spend a lot of time sometimes apologizing because animals maybe aren't as serious as landscapes, but then I just can, when I finally grew up and matured, I thought, darn it, that's what I love. So I do them.
And you do them so beautifully. And we can tell, I think that when you love what you do, it comes through, right?
Yeah, I think it does. Actually, I really do think it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Robin is asking, what do you mount your surfaces on when you're doing your art? So I assume if you're doing art on paper, if you're doing on, and multiple, like that, we never did ask you. So what is your favorite surface to paint on, or to pencil on?
To pencil on?
Yeah, to pencil on.
Okay, so I do it on the Stonehenge paper. I like the way it works with that OMS, and it took me a little while to get there, and then I thought that is what I do enjoy doing. And so most of my stuff, to be perfectly honest, I just put in a binder. I don't actually do too much with it, but I have glued it onto canvas boards and then framed them. I have one or two things like that. And you saw recently that I was doing the memory boxes. So I really enjoy doing that too. So I just glue them right on, and then I spray them so that they fix, and then I put the brush on varnish.
So the colored pencil, you do it on the Stonehenge paper, then you put that on the paper mache memory box. You don't go just right to the paper mache memory box.
I've done them on that surface too, but I don't like it.
You don't like how it reacts?
Yeah, I just find that it eats the pencils up differently, and like I say, I've done that a little bit. I did it on some papers, and they're cool. They're very cool. But if you ask me what my favorite is, it's still the Stonehenge in a toned color. I like the black, and I like that sort of fawn.
Does it have two sides, like a rough side and then a smooth side?
Technically, yes.
And which side do you prefer?
I like the smoother side.
Okay.
So you kind of have to, feel it on both sides, and then I like the smoother side.
Okay. And here's another one. And this is like only because I picked these tidbits up from going to conventions myself and taking classes and listening to other people. But do you prefer a sharp pencil or a rounded pencil?
I think I'm a sharp pencil person.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. Because the last two The last two little free movies I've made, I did that color basics and I pulled out like what everybody thought was going to be sharp. And then I sharpened a pencil and I said, you know, this is sharp. That is not sharp. So that when you really need to do something that you're paying attention with, it needs to be sharp. And then after that, it can round a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, I never realized that, you know, that it was so technical in the pencil world.
Sharp, sharp, and sharper.
I know. It's so funny. It's not funny, but funny.
No.
So let's see. We had some other questions. Do you have a suggestion for a reforming perfectionist?
A reforming perfectionist.
That's from Donna. I think, no, who's that from?
Oh, so
That's
funny.
from Belinda.
So you're a perfectionist, are you? Belinda. Well, you know, it's kind of interesting because, again, like these couple of ladies that I've had over in the last little while, we were just chit-chatting and solving all the problems of the world. And one of them was going to come and heckle me tonight, but I think she's busy. So, and she's one of those professional analytical type of people. And I'm sort of the opposite. I need to kind of have a bit of a plan, jump in, see where it takes me, and then kind of, you know, go from there. Because I think if you think too long, you don't do it. And you won't get better if you don't do it. You have to do your art. Because up here, it's perfect. That's when it comes out of the pencil that you think, oh, gee, in my mind, it was perfect. You got to do it. And then give, you know, maybe a glass of wine. Right?
Right.
Just yoga, deep breathing. I don't know. You've got to figure out something that you need to just relax and take it easy.
I found that's when the best comes out of you. I took an oil painting class once and I just wasn't getting it. I am not an oil painter. And I was trying so hard. I got so frustrated. I finally said to myself, Cindy, stop. Just get it done. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just get it done. And lo and behold, boy, that green leaf came out really nice.
Yeah.
And it was a stupid leaf. Didn't even matter.
You could cut it out and frame it and make it a coaster. Well, I think, you know, I mean, I don't know why we think that everything has to be perfect. And I don't even know if we know what perfection is, to be perfectly honest, right?
Yeah. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Madeline is asking, have you ever had a dog?
Have I ever had a dog? I grew up with dogs. Completely. We had German Shepherds. We had a Golden Retriever. Always had a dog. Never had a cat.
So when did you transition to cats?
Well, my parents say that I did ask for a cat at one time. But then when my oldest daughter was 4 or 5, I think, and we went traveling and we visited a couple of people and they each had 2 kitties, like young kitties. And then we went off to camp. And then my daughter had an imaginary cat that she would take to the beach all the time. And so when we came home from that trip, we went down to look at the kitties. And of course came home with one. Yes.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Right.
Andrea is asking, I guess she's having troubles finding Stonehenge paper. Can you get it in Canada? And can you like hook her up to a source?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's annoying as whatever. Curry's was good for a while. Desserts was good for a while. Sometimes they have some colors, sometimes they don't have the other colors. I haven't tried Delta Art in Edmonton yet, or lately. Sometimes you just have to buy them by the big sheets and cut them down. It's the pads that seem to be difficult to get up here. So email me.
Yeah, there's someone else. Sorry, there's someone else who was asking the same question. So if you're in the United States, yeah,
If you're in the States, you can get them from Dick Blick and Jerry's and all manner of places. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Belinda's asking, what pencil sharpener do you use? Hers breaks off the pencil tips of the pencil lead.
I have a whole bunch. And sometimes they don't work and sometimes they do work. Oh, and I got a new one from Paula Leopold, and that one's working. And then I don't know, sometimes they stop working. So I use this one, Staedtler, when I want a super sharp pencil. And then I use this one, the Faber-Castell, when I just trying to sharpen. This has three sizes. And then if I'm feeling like I want to get it done fairly quickly, then I have this one, I Point Ball by Westcott.
So are they all battery operated?
Well, these are hand.
Those are hand. So now is there, here we go again. You know, when I listen to people, I'm like, I didn't know. Is there a special secret way of sharpening your pencil? Do you twist the pencil or do you twist the sharpener?
It depends on how much rage you have. You have to hold it firmly, and you have to just very go like that. If you over crank it, that's when you break your pencil. And sometimes you don't even know. And that's when I think people sometimes say to use your non-dominant hand and to sometimes go around with your move the pencil sharpener and not the pencil. But yeah, you kind of have to hold it firmly, but not aggressively. Does that make sense? Not really. And sometimes you have a dud of a pencil.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong there. Sometimes I go I have 2 or 3 of them, and sometimes it's just not going to work very well. But you just kind of press firmly, turn it, pull it out. There it is. It's going well. This looks like a new one.
No.
They do get dull.
Oh, they do?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, I also heard that there are sharpeners that sharpen like slices, and then there's some that are chippy. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean there.
Like shaving versus whatever the other opposite of the shaving is.
I would say that I'm a shaving kind of a person. If I had to answer that question, they look like they're nicely shaved, like if you would peel an apple, they look like that.
Okay. Cool. I mean, all these little things that I didn't know until I started talking to other color pencil artists and
yeah,
or people who were doing it and saying all the different nuances that I didn't know it made a difference. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah. Who knew?
Right. Let's see. Do you tape this is a question from Robin. Do you tape your Stonehenge paper to some type of board when doing your pencils?
No, I don't tape. I just have it on a board, and then I can move it around as I like.
There you go. Okay, so we answered the question about the sharpener. She's like, okay, well, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the handheld or the battery?
I'm a handheld person.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Is there a difference between Prismacolor and Prismacolor Premier?
Yeah, I think one of those, the Prisma, if it doesn't say Premier on it, I think it means it's probably more of a student quality, and the Premier, I think, is the artist quality.
That's a good answer. I know, because I also had asked the question about the Verithin ones, because I inherited those, and I don't know what the difference was.
You know now, though?
You told me, but you can tell us again, any rate.
The Verithin are harder. They're quite a bit harder, so they would give you a very fine line, and it would be like I use them maybe for the edge of an animal for that. When you look at a kitten or a puppy or whatever, and they have that fuzz, I use it for that, or maybe for whiskers or something like that. But they don't have as much pigment.
Yeah. What? So the Verithins don't. Yeah, I've not again. I bought the set of Prismacolors. I don't know if they're Premier or not because I'm not a colored pencil artist. I just thought I took one class and said, oh, buy the whole set from Jerry's. Why not?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you got to get the holders, and then you got to get the sharpener, and then you got to get the little eraser, tacky. Like what? So yeah, do you use that eraser? That what is it?
I use the kneaded eraser.
Kneaded eraser. Yeah,
Yes.
you got to get that.
Yeah, it works out quite well.
Okay, so Kathy what is the name of the first one you showed us? I'm not sure what the first pencil sharpener, I guess, is what she's asking.
This was a Staedtler. It says Staedtler Mars Lumograph on it.
And then Sandy's saying blades versus helical? Helical? Helical?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. The pencil sharpeners have blades in them, right? Yeah.
Usually, I've never really looked at them that.
Let's see. Stormy says, do you need to sharpen a number 2 pencil in between with a handheld like you do with an electric?
I do when I remember. Yeah.
Mostly is that to keep the blade sharp?
Well, because of the waxy buildup, it kind of dulls the blades. So then if you go in there and you think that you're not getting the sharp, then you kind of give it a, you do a regular pencil in there, kind of cleans it up a little bit. Yeah, but they do get dull.
Okay. Kathy's asking, which is another good question, how do you store your pencils?
I have a Lazy Susan. And I have these little jars that came from Italy because I had yogurt and I brought them all back. And I store them in color families. And then on my Lazy Susan, so I have yellow, orange, red, pink, and I have them all in a color family like that.
Wow.
I was going to show you. This is my...
Wow.
That's how I do it.
Wow. That's amazing. That's like me and brushes.
Yeah. And then the tall ones sometimes get chomped on.
Oh. Because of little fur babies.
Yes, they brush their teeth.
Oh. The next question, Robin, let's see, Robin has a question. Do you use a brand of pastel pencils?
I have a set of pastel pencils because I thought that's what I wanted, but I don't find them very helpful anymore. In fact, they're brand new still. I find I get enough detail with a hard pastel in a stick. And there's, again, more pigment in the sticks than there are in the pencils. And
before anyone asks, your brand of pastels is New Pastel.
Yes. And I'm working on a new pastel with the new pastels.
I will never forget.
I just didn't know where you were going with that question. You guys.
Oh my God, I know. It's, not to say anything against the blondes, but it's the blonde in me, It's like, and what's the name of that pastel?
I know. Yes, I like the new pastels are a super good entry level, but there's that new brand, the Mungyo, that I think might be a little bit nicer. So if you get a deal on those, go and get some of those too, because they got really nice colors.
Cool. So someone did ask earlier on, what was the brand of the pan pastels that you use?
Okay, they're just called pan pastels. That is the brand.
Oh, there you go.
There. I know. That's all they say on it, pan pastels.
Right. So to answer Mary's questions, everyone has been answering her question. It's OMS is odorless mineral spirits.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Now I know what to do with my Lazy Susan. Yes. That's from my BFF, Melissa. Yeah, now she knows. Now you know. Okay, let's see. Is there another one? Do you use OMS on every pattern you design?
It doesn't work that well on black paper, so I don't tend to use it on when I'm working on black paper. But yeah, it's my favorite. It's my very favorite technique. It really is. It just, you put a few layers on and then you put that on and you rub it with a little blender and you get this soft, just this little soft look for a nice belly of a bird, and it just makes the eyes on the kitty cats and things like that. It just brings it to life.
Cool. Yeah. What's the difference? I mean, is Gamsol the same thing as OMS?
Yep, it's the same. It's the brand. That's what I use. Yes. Brand.
Okay. Let's see. Now, my next question is there a medium, a subject, or a technique that you would like to try that you haven't tried yet that you would like to try?
Well, I think the soft pastels are doing that for me right now. It's my big challenge, and the plein air thing isn't going well either. So I'm going to beat that to death for a bit.
Yeah, it's all about perseverance, right?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely somebody who likes to try a new thing. I mean, as a crafter, I used to be like that too. You did the painting on, did the macrame and then the painting on silk and then, all these other different things. Scrapbooking probably wasn't as big a thing for me, but I've got stuff. I've got stamps. I've got all that. I guess the watercolor pencils, I enjoy those, and I thought that I liked them more, but now that the color's not there enough for me, so I like the Inktense better than the watercolor pencils. And maybe I'll work at that. But the soft pastels are my thing right now that I'm trying to like really get.
Did they have a name, or are they also NuPastel, just soft?
Soft pastels, that seems to be a category, and in that category there is millions of choices.
So do you have a certain brand of those that you're playing with, or do you have a mixture of brands?
I have a mix.
Okay.
Definitely got a mix there. Yeah.
So you haven't figured out what's your favorite yet?
Well, that was what I was trying to say before, is it seems like because there's such a range within that heading, soft pastels, that there's a time when you want a bunch of them. I mean, there's a ton out there and you need to kind of at least narrow in a little bit. But like I started with the NuPastels like most everybody else is, and those Mungyos are nice starter set as well. But then you've got Unisons and Senneliers and Blue Earth and, all these other fun and funky things that are just so yummy that, but they're more expensive, of course. So you don't buy a 96 pack. You just, get maybe a 24 pack or something. Yeah.
Cool. What is okay, so here we're going to go into what you're going to be doing for Artful webinars. So you can either do that or you can talk about what you're doing for the Facebook group Artfully Connected first, however, which way you want to do it.
Okay, so this weekend is Corabelle. And that we're going to do that with pretty much a 24 pack of NuPastels. Plus, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the medium, and we'll do a couple of techniques and stuff. And I think what I'm going to do there is I'm working on another design that I will give to everybody to practice.
Ooh.
Yes. And I'm probably going to make it into a movie as well with that same 24 pack. Except this one's going to be a little fox in a field.
Sounds
so
adorable. That's
a bonus for people who are signing up for Corabelle for this weekend.
So rush to the computers. I mean, you're there already. Just go to artfulwebinars.com and sign up for Corabelle. So the question is, are the NuPastels the same as chalk pastels? I know I've already asked that question, got the answer, but someone else is asking it now.
So it's a big no-no to say the word chalk. It's like that kind of thing, because chalk is a thing. It's a substance on its own, and it's not in these. And I think the only reason why people like to use that word is because they're dry, like a chalk. Like, so they're like that, but soft pastels are just pigment and a binder. And the less binder, the softer the pastel is. And so it is the most pigment kind of a medium. So so chalk is like for a blackboard, and that's got nothing to do with that. This is like way better color, way better pigment.
Does it leave residual though, like chalk?
It's dry and it's dusty.
Okay,
It's
so
messy.
it's dusty.
If you're not into messy, then you're probably not going to want to do chalk.
Yeah.
Sorry, soft pastel.
How do you store your pastels? Eve is asking.
Okay, so I went to IKEA and I got these little things, these divisions.
Oh,
You see that?
yeah.
And so what you do is you do them in color and value. So I've got the lower value. These are the 1 and 2 values, and then I've got a 3 and 4, and then a 5 and a 6. And so yeah, I do that from the sort of more neutrals up to the warmer colors like that.
So unlike colored pencils that have names and color numbers on them, how do you know what color pastels you used?
Exactly. Exactly. I've been working away this week, and I'm trying to figure out how to tell you that. You just got to get over it. I think that's the basic thing.
All I can think about is taking all the labels off of the canned goods in the pantry and trying to figure out which one is the carrots and which one's the peas.
Surprise. Except that you can actually see, though. You can actually see it. I mean, if it's a red, it's not a black, right? So we're a little bit further along. But
thank God.
It's like they're clear. They're not tins, they're clear.
Clear, right?
They're jars.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, you see, the thing is that it's going to be a different way of labeling. Instead of saying, okay, this color is poppy red, we are going to say, take an orange red. And you're going to take an orange red. And then if it's going to be the right color, you'll figure that out. And if you think, well, no, I want an orangier, and you have an orangier red, then maybe you could put a little bit of yellow over top of it.
So Kathy is saying that she's scared of Corabelle.
Yes, I figured there's going to be a bit of a meltdown the first hour, and then we're just going to jump in and we're going to love it. It's going to be great. Truly. How could it not be great? There's such fun colors.
Ellen is saying that she loves that you are offering us beginners a way to learn about the pastels on Saturday. So she's excited. There's several people excited. Will the class with Corabelle be recorded? And I want to attend, but have a conflict.
Yes, there certainly seems to be an awful lot of people with conflicts. And I think we will, or at least we will. Didn't we sort of decide?
Well, I always leave it up to the teacher to decide because it is her intellectual property. It's not mine. I just host the event. So if the teacher deems so, then I will do it. But we are not in the business of editing it. So if you take and pay for the class, you will get a recording sometimes offered to you, not every time, but sometimes. And so you will have that, you just have to ask. And
I have plans.
Yeah.
I have plans.
So if you buy it, I think this time you'll get it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think what I'm going to end up doing, I don't know if don't hold me to all this exactly, but I've been trying to do a few sort of informational videos and things like that. And I think I might put it all together and have it in a little bit of a neater package.
Aha.
How
Cool.
about that?
That sounds good.
So if you have a conflict, don't worry. You can either sign up for it now and get what you can out of it, or and then we can give you the class, and I have plans.
There you go. You heard it here. She's got plans. So someone asked, how do you determine the values of the pastels?
Oh, you mean the light to dark?
Right, because someone else, Belinda, was saying no labels. My OCD just exploded.
I know, right? Because I'm going to make you, well, there's definitely no labels on them. And if you get pastels, the first thing you do is take all the labels off.
Oh,
I know. So we will do a couple of things, and we will be kind to ourselves. It'll be very easy to figure out the lights, and it'll be very easy to figure out the darks. And then that whole range in between, I'm going to show you 2 or 3 ways of figuring that out. And then I'll show it to you, and then you'll forget, and then we'll do Cora, and we'll experiment. You can't be expected to know everything before you even start. You need to get in there and get your hands dirty and figure things out. And you'll find that really, if you use a value 5 instead of a value 6, it's really not that big.
So Brenda's saying, are you layering with the pastels like you do with paint? You're layering. Okay.
Yeah.
And Kathy Baldwin said she'll bring the wine.
I'm going to hold you to that.
We're holding her to that one. Yeah. Let's see. Thank you for recording. Carolyn says, I have pastel matte for my surface. Is this okay?
Very nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
I love that stuff.
Let's see. There's other possible sources for Stonehenge. Debbie's offering people, so thank you for that. Is there a sealer that you put over the pastels, or that you put over the colored pencils? And is it the same? Is it different?
So for pencils, like for colored pencils, you often do a workable fixative or a final fixative so that you stop that waxy bloom. So that when you frame it, and then 2 years down the road, you don't have waxy bloom that you have to deal with. I would say for pastels, most artists don't fix it because it changes the color of your pastels.
Oh.
And when you want to work with pastels, you're usually there for the color. And the fact that you're layering this dry stuff and you get all this little shimmery thing happening. So they don't smudge and they don't fix. If they do fix, they do it sort of halfway and then finish with more pastel on top. And if you've got a sanded board and you bang it, all the extra dust comes off, and it really doesn't, I mean, if your cat walks by it, then yes, it's going to come off, but you're going to do it under glass anyways. You can't.
So like if you picked up Corbel right now and went like that, you'd smear it?
Yes.
Don't do it, but.
Oh yeah, I can do it.
Ah, okay.
Okay. But if I just touched it like that, it doesn't come off.
Okay.
You actually have to sweep it.
Put pressure. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing Corabelle this Saturday. And what is your next project? You have another one next month that we just opened up the seats for.
Yeah, that's Newton.
He's hiding. He flew away.
There we go. That's Newton. And that is pen pastel in the background. Then we fixed it because, we were doing more stuff over top of it and so on. So that's that. Then I'm part of the Ornament of the Month Club.
Yep. Yep.
There you go. That's Ollie.
And he's in acrylics?
He's in acrylics, yes. And then I've got some little ideas for some paint-alongs I think I got one coming. I don't know. I can't remember all the days, but I think I'm going to do one in
I have it
acrylic?
down here somewhere.
And I'm going to do one in colored pencil. And then I've got another idea for a Zoom Artful Webinars acrylic painting. And I think that's in October.
You are fully connected. Is that for the Facebook page? See, this is where we get everyone confused and we apologize. Artfully
know.
Connected is the Facebook group that Lydia has been blessing us with little short classes or technique classes. And then there's Artful Webinars, which is the full-blown program. Is that what you're talking about, what you might be doing?
All right, so let's just have a look here. So that in September, we've got Newton, and that's colored pencil. Aha,
Yep.
aha. On September 25th, apparently, I am doing a paint along on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay. And I am going to do it on a little canvas, and it's going to be acrylic.
Cool. That's going to be awesome.
And it's probably going to be slightly Halloween oriented.
Ooh,
Yes.
a black cat?
Yeah, well, maybe black and white. Maybe Gibbs. In fact, I've just given it away. It's going to be
love
Gibbs,
black and white cats.
and he's going to have a patch over his eye because he only has one eye. But
Aw.
he's very handsome.
He's very handsome.
Very handsome. And then I think Zoom acrylic, October 26th. That's a Monday. That's with Artful Webinars.
That's right.
And I'm going to do an acrylic something. I asked people for some information as to what animal they wanted. They haven't really answered.
Cats, probably.
Well, maybe something else. I'll think.
We'll find out.
It's coming pretty soon.
Susan asked, what brand of spray do you use to seal the colored pencil?
I use either golden or acrylic or Krylon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the ornament is on porcelain, correct?
Yes, I did it on porcelain. I just went into my stash and found something. It's about 3.5, 4 inches round. So you can do it on whatever you happen to find in your stash too. It needs to be a decent enough surface though. Like, you know, I mean, you can't sort of squish it in on a long, narrow thing.
Right. It has to be probably circular. I think you can get those at Hobby Lobby, someone told me.
Okay, because I looked at a couple of places and they don't carry them anymore because of course they were in my stash. But yeah, they're around. They're around.
You've got
But
several
that's on
you got several suggestions. We've got mouse, otter, sloth, raccoon.
Oh, raccoon. There you go.
So,
Okay.
So that kind of answers, I mean, are you teaching other, oh, okay, go.
And on November 17th, apparently I'm doing a watch, learn, and paint. And I'll do that one in colored pencil.
That's the Artfully Connected Facebook group. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I think it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah. Squirrel, border collie. And now the animals are getting bigger.
Elephant.
Elephant, right?
Actually, some people were suggesting, I did get a couple of safari animal ideas.
Yes, that would be cool. When and where do I sign up for Gibbs and Halloween video class?
That one's going to be in the Facebook group.
So that's free to watch. And you'll have pattern packets available for sale on your website, lydiasteeves.com. And do you also sell like quote unquote kits? Like if it's a colored pencil, do you offer the pencils in case they don't have any? Okay.
No,
So
you're
there you
kinda
go.
on your own. You're kind of on your own. Sorry.
There you
You know
go.
what? The thing is that I always figure that people have a lot of that anyways, unless it's a brand new thing that they want to try, of course, but I, up here, for me to mail down to you guys, it's like 2 weeks. Like I just had somebody phone me or write me yesterday, where's my book? Well, until it's 2 weeks, I don't worry that it's lost.
Right, right.
So I just think it could be an exercise in frustration.
Well, here's a new one for you. How about an aardvark?
Okay.
Thank you, Marietta. We love these suggestions. This is going to be fun what she pulls out of her hat when she does this one. So, so we have your meet the artist tonight. And so Thursday night, you're going to be doing the free lesson. And this time it's more of on a technique than on a project, but look at how beautiful these are. You can like put them closer to the camera at one at a time.
So there's the bubbles, and I show you on a dark and I show you on a light surface these are pan pastels. And I tell you them, and you're going to be able to look at the movie again. So this one is just kind of learn and maybe write a couple of notes, but then you're going to go get your supplies and come back. And then I'm going to show you in acrylic. And then I'm going to show you in color pencil.
Wow.
I have that on a black piece of paper too. Yeah, so they're fun. Definitely.
They made my day when you showed me. I was like, how can you not smile with the bubbles?
Yeah, see, I mean, I did this in Vegas a bunch of years ago, and everybody absolutely loved them. And then I did little Hershey in color pencil, because all the color pencil people said, but we want to do bubbles too. So there you go. I don't have one yet for pastels, but I thought bubbles in 3 mediums. Why not, right?
Why not? Exactly.
Lots of fun.
So you're going to
be able to ask me questions and then I can answer, right?
Yeah.
That one's going to go. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely join our Thursday night, and you can like here tonight, you can type in your questions and she can answer them, and the video will be on repeat. So you'll be able to watch it after it's over. You'll be able to go back and play the repeat and do it along with her.
Yeah. And then you can decide which medium you actually do want to try.
Yeah. And that's why I changed it to watch, learn, and then paint or pencil, because it's sometimes you learn more sometimes just by watching.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Where do you go to get on this Facebook page for the bubbles? Right where you are now, hon. Right where you are now. And you'll come back and you'll find the comment, in the main page, you'll find a live video, and it will say watch party. It'll be a purple banner on the bottom. And so there'll be other people here. Lydia is one of the moderators, and there are other moderators who help me. Lana, Lamb, then Cheryl, Martins, Linda, Cap, they all help you. So if you're lost, just put out a call for help saying, where do I find the party? And they'll guide you to the party. So it's right here in the same where you are now, only a different post. So I have, where can people find you? Because we are well over an hour, but thank you very much. And where can people find you? Your website, your Facebook, your YouTube, whatever you got going on.
Well, lydiasteeves.com is my website. And so there, I also, if you go to the calendar label there, I'm trying to keep that up to date a little bit more. So a lot of these things I put on now, but before it was just traveling, but now I'm trying to put in all these different things as well. And, get on the newsletter because then I send things out that way too. And of course I have a personal Facebook page, but you probably want my Facebook art, my Lydia Steeves art page, because that's where I put all my art things. So you just need to follow that. You don't need to friend me. You just need to go over to that page and follow that. And of course I have an Instagram one as well.
Cool. So yeah, go over and like her business page. That's awesome. And then let's see. And if they want to purchase your pattern packets and your books, they can go to your website, lydiasteeves.com. And if you have any more questions, definitely put them in the comments section. But thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And thank you for helping me with the questions, because I always,
Nice.
love having the additional
Yeah.
questionnaires and not have them all come from me all the time. So thank you so much all for joining us. Thank you so much, Lydia, for doing this again, for being a moderator of this new group, for offering all your little projects and tips and techniques to the members of this group and to Artful Webinars.
Oh, it's great, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Really
Take care now and have a great week. We'll see you Thursday night, right?
Yeah, definitely.
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Sounds
Okay.
good.